WWE 2K22's roster is kind of in flux right now, and there's tons of news going on when it comes to NXT being changed around, and the game itself really feels like it's going to be missing quite a few stars. Do you think that WWE 2K22 is going to be mostly about the legends this year? I want to break that down with all of you right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assemble. Welcome back to the show. It's Monday. I'm tired. I'm really tired today. I have my dog. She's old. The dog had to go out like 5 times last night. It was insanity. I've barely slept, and I've been working all day too. Anyways, 2K22 is potentially releasing this fall, and with that, the roster is the big question mark for me and for a lot of you out there. The question to all of you in the community is WWE 2K22 going to be mostly focused around legends? Over the years, we have seen the roster sizes shift and sway, and some games have really big rosters, and specifically on the legend side, and some years they seem not as big and not as in-depth. This year is proving to be extremely interesting with the vast amount of releases, the change in focus and shift from WWE themselves, and more of the conversation right now has really been WWE wanting to shift more towards big marquee stars, developing homegrown talent, young talent that are larger than life superstars. We keep hearing the rumblings of NXT getting completely rebranded and gutted and changed over completely and being much more of a developmental system. So looking at this year's game and potentially into the next year's title or subsequent title year after that, where do you think we're going to be when it comes to the roster? I feel right now that WWE is in a spot themselves that they are really looking to shift everything, their focus, and how they manage their talent, and they get bigger name stars, larger than life, huge 6'6" guys, and they want to go back to the days of, having the Giants and just huge mega stars that they can market around. The Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, Savage, those types of stars and personalities. That seems to be the direction the company is going towards. So when it comes to the game this year, do you think that we are going to get, one, that stripped down roster that we have been talking and speculating about so much lately, but two, do you think it's going to be really focused on the legends? There's only so many stars that WWE and 2K can actually put in this title and have lined up for the game. But with the likes of Ric Flair being released and potentially not in the game, and maybe he will be because of them already rendering him and actually having everything done, maybe he is going to be in the game. We don't know. But do you feel that they are at a spot right now with this game that because it's development cycle, because they have so many legends potentially still under contract that they could lean on, do you think that they're going to try and bolster it for this year's game to try and kind of make it feel more robust if they don't have all of those heavy hitters in there? Majority of DX having them in there, getting X-Pac and Road Dogg, Triple H obviously, Shawn obviously, Chyna in there, all of them counting as more of the legend side, Piper, Savage, Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, putting them in there, Bret Hart, Ted DiBiase, Bossman, the Hart Foundation, Goldberg, and I mentioned Hulk Hogan already, but having Hogan over the years from his, early 80s to his big run in WWF, Hogan in WCW with NWO, Hollywood Hogan, you're gonna be able to beef up like 4 tires that way if you did it that way. And with 2K's way of doing things in the past is any indicator, and hopefully it hits different, like they said, but hopefully it hits different where they don't go down this path, and maybe it's going to be like 4 tires and not actual 4 different versions, and they try to stack the roster that way. I can actually see them though trying to fill up actual spots by having just alternate versions of like Hulk Hogan from 81 to 86, and then having his 90s version and so on, and then into the 2000s. You got other stars in there that you can also put under as legends like Booker T, Mankind. Give us 3 Faces of Foley in there, which is a good idea. Give us The Rock, with The Rock coming up to his 25th anniversary of, first appearance at Survivor Series. I think that's also a perfect time to be able to leverage The Rock. Biggest star in Hollywood, crossover star, he's a mega star everywhere. Put 4 or 5 different versions of The Rock in there. Give us like Hollywood Rock from mid 2000s. Give us, Attitude Era. Give us his actual Survivor Series costume. Pull all those attires out. So many of you have also mentioned Ruthless Aggression Era. I think that's a fantastic idea. They could round out the roster by focusing in on Ruthless Aggression. Multiple Rey Mysterios. You're going to be able to put in Cena, obviously, and we've had Cena's different attires over the years, from Thugonomics all the way to current. Edge, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. We can't do Chris Benoit, but still. And Kurt Angle, possibly not in this year's game, as he's going to be under Wrestling Code and he's signed to put, himself in that game. We don't even know if Angle is actually going to be in this title. You have the McMahons, you have Austin, you have Savage, like I mentioned, Godfather, and you start Big Boss Man. You start going down the rabbit hole of all of the main stars that you had from the Attitude Era that you can lean upon, and maybe you can grab a few more along the way. Even in the women's division, I think that the women's division, even on the Legends side, I think that they could truly beef that up this year to make it a little bit more well-rounded on the Legends side, where you can have Trish Stratus and Lita, Molly Holly, Kelly, Beth Phoenix. You've got China, like I mentioned. If it's WWE's way, they probably say the Bellas are legends, so they'll probably put them in the game as well. The whole McMahon family is in there too, so even on the women's division side, and I'm leaving out a ton. Michelle McCool, because of Funko Taker, obviously. You goddamn right, you're gonna put Michelle in the game. Why? Because Tombstone Pile Driver, Choke Slam right the hell, Dead Man. Michelle? Yeah, baby. You're gonna be in the video game. Don't worry, I already talked to this pissant little boy. Hi, everybody. I'm out. And it's unfortunate we can't have stars. We won't get stars like Mark Henry and Big Show, who's been in every game, and Christian and all those guys. They're all over in AEW. But I do think that they could rely a lot more and showcase a lot more legends. And I think that would be really, really good of them if they did go down that path. You got the NWO in there, it's always going to be fun, and you can try to round things out by really focusing in on the legend side if you can't really pull it off when it comes to your current active roster, which in itself is an issue, right? Because this tells us that WWE as a whole is really starting to shrink down, and they don't have those big marquee stars like they used to in years prior. And it's too bad, because all of WWE, WWF, growing up and all of that, it's all about the stars. It's all about the superstars to be able to play them in those video games. So we need something that's going to be allow us to have breathe a little bit more life into these titles. And if we're not going to be able to get the actual superstars in the game, like Sting, for example, then I guess we're going to have to go in and create him online, and hopefully 2K does a good enough job with the creation suite where they do actually put in all of the pieces to make Sting, other than being able to call him Sting. Who knows, maybe they'll just allow us to voice over stuff. It's really, I don't even know anymore, to be honest, what they're going to do with this game. But let me know in the comments below, do you think that WWE 2K22 is going to rely much more heavily on Legends this year? Are we going to get a massive Legends roster? Because our main roster is going to look like slim pickings. Maybe we'll get 4 versions of Vince McMahon, get him in a suit, get him in his black attire, get him just bloodied up, whatever. You get Shane O'Mac in 4 different ways, and just his little baseball t-shirts over the years. And do me a favor too, everybody, if you enjoy all the wrestling content, go check out our retro wrestling series. We do it a live stream. We did episode 1 was yesterday. It was fantastic, and thank you all so much for joining us on the show yesterday as we played WWF No Mercy. You guys got to pick some stuff, who our matchups were going to be, the arenas. I had a blast doing it, and we talked all the latest news about WWE and what's going on with all the releases. The game itself had a blast, so go check that out. If you guys enjoy the video all the way through, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing, supporting the show, become a channel member, all of that good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you all on the next episode. See ya!